reached out and said, I want you to tell me if this is true, if I'm considering to come to Kenya to visit or even to move to Kenya as an African American, then my life will actually be very easy. And I thought, why not answer all of you guys that could be keen to know this. In the process, someone screenshot a comment that says, as Kenyans, we even talk to hyenas, so that makes life easy. Please, Kenyans got jokes. Let me tell you, Kenyans got jokes. But that's not what we are here to do. We are here to talk some serious business and be truthful about coming to visit Kenya or moving to Kenya as an African American, reaction based on a Kenyan recommending or putting some truth on some of these matters. So let's do this.
I'll give you my 3 reasons why I feel like Kenya is the perfect country for African Americans.
Before we even get to his 3 reasons why Kenya is the best country for African Americans, I have to begin by saying we have to recognize some countries that have put measures or things in place that can kind of quote support or help African Americans as they move to the continent. And one of these countries has to be Ghana, you know, like how they have the year of return, the acre of land that was given to African Americans that are willing to come back to Ghana, and other countries that are putting measures. For example, I'll give you this example of, but then this was focused mostly on Ethiopian diaspora, but there was a time there was something almost similar to the return of Ethiopians in America to go back to Ethiopia. And of course, we can't forget to remember that even in Kenya, they've put measures like, for example, e-visas there are not being visa restrictions for anyone coming to Kenya, basically like anyone. So that makes life a little bit easy for African Americans to be able to come to Kenya. Okay, without further ado and recognizing very important countries, let's hear what he has to say.
Reason number 1 is you experience.
Also, I have just forgotten that I should also mention Tanzania, especially when the COVID was happening. We saw a lot of diaspora and African Americans, or even many people moving to Tanzania because there were less restrictions. And also, I find a lot of African Americans preferring to go to Tanzania over Kenya. So I'm keen to hear what he has to say about Kenya.
It's no culture shock. Like, since I've been here, and I've been here over a month now, I have not experienced culture shock. I feel like, especially in Nairobi, everybody's up on everything all the time.
So I would say, be sure any country you go to, you definitely will experience some degree of culture shock. If that was the case that there is no culture shock, we've seen Kenyans moving to America and having culture shocks, then the situation would have been, you know what, I'm Kenyan, then I can adapt to these things very easy. But then that's not the case. For example, one culture shock that I can say is normally on the roads and how we drive. That is definitely a culture shock. And of course, there's little adjustment if it is your first time traveling on what side of the road you cross, you know, because we drive opposite compared to Americans. But I would for sure, I don't fully agree to this that we don't have culture shocks. We do have, you will experience some form of culture shock, but maybe not with a higher degree compared to other places that you would visit or move. Yeah.
Friends or the slang, like I can say stuff and it's just like I'm at home, they just understand me. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm Gucci or whatever, and they're like, yeah. Or people have told me, yeah, I'm Gucci, and I'm like, really?
I also have to say I don't fully agree with this because sometimes, listen, context, if you don't know by now, I'm married to an African American, and there are times that we say things that mean completely different things. So you could be saying I'm Gucci, and then me I'll be here thinking, oh, you do cheap things, bought stuff like this, you know, fake counterfeit thing. I'm not saying that what it means, I'm just giving an example. And then you'll be out here thinking you're cool, you know. Yeah, so I'm just saying, there still will be some, I'm clarifying just in case an African American comes and I'm like, hey, you said they're gonna understand me. No, they're not gonna necessarily understand you. Also, as we talk, we have our own slang that has nothing to do with English. We have our own coded things. Can I give you an example? Yeah? This one caught me by surprise. Guys, you guys are not even ready for this one. Stop it. You know how in Kenya, if someone is talking to you and you're doing some business, you can just be like, and they get you mean yes? I know some of you didn't even get what I mean, like raising your eyebrows. Did you know something like this does not exist in America? Like, I don't. So someone will be talking to you and you'll be thinking they are maybe ignoring you. And even worse, my hubby told me he thought I'm saying I'm interested in him. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying there could be things that we do that you guys don't do, and they could not just be as diverse as in other places. Yes.
And I mean, really, they're really up on everything. Like, from like...
Can I give you one that is also going to have like a small trigger for you? Especially if you're an African American watching this. You know how you guys, how here we can be like, oh, you nigger. Okay, it's the N word that it means something different in America compared to here. So people will be talking about, hey, you, they're thinking they're being cool to you, and they'll be using this word, and then at that point I don't think you will say, yeah, we share the same slang. This is just me telling you the truth.
Early 90s R&B to like obscure early 2000 rappers like Jibs. I don't even know if people remember like Jibs, the guy who made Chain Hang Low song.
I would agree. In terms of entertainment and content, we have a degree of consuming relatively the same amount of content, especially in the 90s, as he has said. But if you go 80s, I'm not sure if it is the same. If you come to like since there's a generation that is now more aware in terms of more in sync on American entertainment and things like this. Yeah, and of course the release of movies makes it like have a sync on what movie is being watched. Like Black Panther is what is trending, so you'll find we'll be talking about these things, but we will not have the same kind of understanding with you guys. Yeah, but we do know a little here and there, not a little, like a good percentage about African American. You'll get a 50-50, let me say, you'll get a 50-50 acceptance, and also it depends on which side of Kenya you are at. If you're spending most of your time in Westlands, Lavington, Kileleshwa, just know you stand more chances of meeting people that relate to African American things or American content, American way of doing life, because there could be a little more influence in that way because of international guests and stuff like this. But if you go to different places, let's say not even very far, maybe Thika. First of all, let me even say this: when we speak, for example, when we speak, we add some Swahili words. It happens so many times. I know this because I'm always the translator to my husband. Like, we'll be storytelling, people are speaking in English, but making Swahili words English by saying something like, we went and akanifanyad, and then now that's an English word all of a sudden. It's just something I'm saying. I'm not saying the guy is backwards or something like this. It's not even about being backwards. I'm just saying based on the content that we consume could be different. Like, you'll find there are more, like, just like malls. You'll go to different malls, they'll be speaking in English. Oh, welcome. Which is this mall we went to recently? There's a mall. Oh, no, it was a hotel. Movenpick, and they were speaking in English. Welcome, welcome. You go to other hotels, they are welcoming you in Swahili. It's just like a different way that I'm saying. But based on where you are, you will interact with people, and also people are more open to, as well as learning. That's, I think, the bonus of this point is Kenyans are open to learning. They're open to learning what it is about your culture, what it is about the music you listen to, the movies that you watch, the way of doing life, and that would make it easier for an African American coming over. Yeah, I would fully say Africans. No, in Africans, Kenyans really are on the top when it comes to being open-minded. You can correct me that, but then I know I am right, okay?
So you're gonna feel right at home. It's like you're just like in another city in America. It's like
in all honesty, this is true for African Americans that have come to Kenya. Most of them that I've interacted with, they have felt at home. Because one of the things that make you feel at home is acceptance, like being accepted, and that is for sure a guarantee that when you come here, you feel accepted. People accept you. People treat you as one of us. So remember, in many discussions we've had here on this channel, we talk about how for us Black Americans just look like Kenyans. So you will basically just kind of be treated like us, and that can make you feel more at home than, hey, you're a tourist, which is nice. Yeah, you want to travel to places and feel at home. Yeah.
Transported a part of America and installed it in Kenya. And I feel like that's like not just American culture, like UK culture. Like, Kenyans are very, very worldly. I can say that. They know a lot about the world.
Well, that's true. That's true. We do know a lot about the world, but I wish we continue educating ourselves more, and also not read from like one page, if that makes sense.
Two is everybody speaks English.
Oh, okay.
And that's huge, because I used to live in Tanzania, and will.
Okay, now I get why he's saying that in Kenya is the best country for African Americans, because he used to live in Tanzania. Just as I mentioned earlier, Tanzania has a lot of African Americans. And you know the interesting thing is we get influenced a lot. Like you'll be influenced to come to Ethiopia because you saw Damaris went to Ethiopia and she had an amazing time. Then you'll be like, oh, I want to experience that. The same thing. You see someone has moved to Tanzania and you're like, oh, seems like life is amazing. You wake up by the beach and then you have good weather. All these good things. So you're like, I'm coming to Tanzania. So on him coming to Kenya is when he'll be like, ha, you mean Kenya was this amazing? Yes, especially when it comes to language. You cannot compare Kenya and Tanzania when it comes to speaking English. Like these are like two very different books, because Tanzania will be willing to help you, but like the vocabularies of English will be playing here and there, present, not present. Yeah. But I always say in Tanzania, I don't necessarily experience language barrier per se. I do, just like a 20% or 15%, because they'll be using some words you have to be like, okay, say it again or repeat or do something like this, despite being the fact that I can speak in Swahili. I'm only just saying, in Kenya we speak English. We have two official languages, English and Swahili. And English is taught in schools, like we learn everything in English, unlike in Tanzania where they learn everything in Swahili apart from English. So that definitely increases the number of people that can speak English. Like you go everywhere. Like my grandmother, she speaks English. Like people do speak English, and for sure this is a bonus. This is a bonus, because sometimes language barrier can make you feel like, God, I cannot survive in that country, when you always need to have someone for you to be able to survive. But also sometimes language barrier is a good challenge on your new experience in whatever place that you go to. Anyway.
A lot of people, you run into a lot of people who didn't speak English and then you needed to use Swahili. But here, I have never ran into anybody that didn't speak.
So the other bonus that would come with an African American moving to Tanzania is, because of how the country is stated, the fact that they speak Swahili, you'll find yourself learning a new language, you know, and then you stop speaking in English all the time. You can throw in some Swahili words. But here in Kenya, because we speak English, we can only teach you like 10 words, Swahili words, and that's the end of it. Your motivation for learning Swahili is like out of the way. Something like this is not very high. But if you went to Tanzania, if you're looking to learn a new language, I would actually recommend that if you're looking to learn Swahili, I'd recommend you go to Tanzania. You have high chances of learning it compared to here, especially learning from people. Yeah, because that's when then they encourage the speaking of it, the talking, the interaction. Yeah, here we be speaking Swahili, but our Swahili too has some questions here and there. But we are still Kenyans, we are cool, and we still stand to be the Kenyan country that is the best in Africa. Some people call it the capital of Africa.
Everybody, from security guards to the help, everybody speaks English. So you don't really have to worry about learning Swahili. I mean, you should learn Swahili. Swahili is a dope language. I recommend you learn it. But it's not necessary to learn Swahili or another language to live in Kenya, especially Nairobi.
Okay.
And
Number three,
and this is a big one. Kenya is affordable.
for an African American, I would say yes. If you ask a regular Kenyan if Kenya is affordable, I bet you'll get a different answer. But for you, absolutely, you're favored by the dollar, so definitely it's gonna be more affordable compared to your country. Have you seen the rates in America for you to get like a 3-bedroom house that is made of paper, not paper, like not stone, that the space is not anywhere compared to like the houses here. So I would, on that way, on you as an African American, I would agree with you that it is affordable. But now that brings me to the question, gets me to the question of, is it affordable compared to like Tanzania? Because that was like another example that you used. Is it affordable compared to Tanzania? According to me, I think Tanzania is affordable than Kenya. It's more affordable than Kenya. But let me know in the comment section down below based on your experience. Yeah, but if you find Kenya affordable, please come to Kenya. When say it's too expensive, we are open to you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Definitely, it will not be anywhere close to like America. You know how like in America you guys be going to do your hair? Just some simple braids at $300. Here we just do it at like $10. Okay, yes. Calm down here. Calm down here. It's the best country
Kenya is very, very affordable compared to other African countries I've been to.
Okay.
Like if you're trying to get like a super modern apartment, you can spend like a couple thousands of dollars. Like just like a basic modern apartment, you can spend a couple $1,000s. Like one of my apartments, which is it's not bad, it's not like super expensive, but like one of my apartments in Tanzania for a 3-bedroom was like $1,000. But that was back during the pandemic, so it's probably more now. But in Kenya, you can get reasonably priced places, especially like if you don't want to stay like in the center of town, like you want to get away from CBD, West.
Okay, yeah, then if you're doing that, especially if you're getting away from those towns that we talked about, like, you know, Westlands, those things, those, you know, I mentioned them, yeah? Then life will be pretty affordable. But also I have to say, when you don't live in these convenient towns, the more tricky situations are going to be when you go further away from that. Let me make you explain. Let me make you understand. You know how in America there's convenience of delivery, there's convenience of transport to some extent. There's, you know, like this thing being easy. When you come to outside this, what I would call lavish places to stay, then you be sure to kind of start experiencing things like, yeah, you might need to either use a matatu because there's no cab that you can find around that place. Not saying that matatus are not good, but then remember, this is a new person that has moved into this country that does not know where to alight and stuff like this. I'm not saying that's like the worst of the things. I'm just saying you'll face more inconveniences than other places. Like you won't find all these varieties of things to shop like in a big mall or stuff like this. So if you want Kenya to be the best country that you want to visit, my concept has to be you have to have defined what you're willing to take in and what you're not willing to take in, and you will have an amazing time here in Kenya. Yeah.
And like Kilimani, like there's people who's like renting places and their places look like super nice, like $300, $400 a month, and like crazy. I'm talking about this is a place that has a pool, a gym.
Listen, I want to see those $300 places that have a gym, and I'm assuming it's like a 3-bedroom house at $300 in Kilaleshwa. Maybe, I don't know much. Huh? What? Okay.
Yeah, it's like just like parking, just modern, newly built, and for $300 or $400 a month for like a 2-bedroom, like you can't beat that. Like you can't beat that with a stick.
So my point would be, Kenya is a very good country to visit. Please come, please visit. Of course, these bonuses, you will have them, you will enjoy them. I feel like the fact that you come to Kenya and you will feel connected and welcomed and accepted is my main reason why you should come to Kenya, and why Kenya is the best country, and we love interacting and being good to guests. That makes sense. Yes, that has been me. Let me know in the comment section down below. Have you been to Kenya and how was your experience? Until the next one, I'll see you. Bye.